I think it's good to take inventory of your strengths and weaknesses in whatever medium you're trying to be a part of, whatever skill set you're trying to take on, whatever discipline you've put yourself into. It's really important to take note of, here are the things that I do awesome, and here are the ways that I can be more awesome. Just like you're your own supervisor in a customer service job who's giving you your monthly or sometimes yearly. I think that's very silly to only have a yearly performance review, but at least monthly performance review. Here's what you're doing great. Here's what you can keep working on. If I were to do that for my talent as I don't know what to call this. I could just call it video maker or vlogger. I like to say personal essayist. My strengths are, well, I'd say one of my biggest strengths. That may not sound like a strength. I'm really good at beating the crap out of myself with my words. I'm really, really good at pointing out everything that is wrong with me. I know it 10 steps ahead of my enemy. I don't think anybody has put it more accurately than I ever have, even the people who said things to me that they really, really wanted to hurt me. I am really, really good at putting myself into my place. And that, again, that doesn't sound like much of a strength, and it's not a power that I want to utilize very often. And again, not for any reason of just because I feel like my mood is too good, so I got to bring myself down a peg. But I think there is a real value in knowing your weaknesses and being able to convey them in a way that people really hear you when you talk about them, to make it really interesting to listen to. I just talked about in my last video how it makes you feel heard to hear a sad song. It makes me feel like I've fully expressed myself when I just let people know everything that I perceive as wrong with me. You have to keep a bit of a detachment from it, though, when you do point out all these things, because with a bit of a perspective switch, any perceived weakness can kind of be a strength. I didn't think about this so much until I read a book called Thick Face, Black Heart that is enormously about just embracing who you are right now and acknowledging that you are good enough right now and that you can take the worst flaws about you, like such as procrastination. That's a big problem of mine. It points out, well, you know, sometimes procrastination means that you don't jump into things too quickly. Maybe sometimes you jump into things too slowly, but people who jump into things too quickly from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, that's a problem in its own way, and that's a problem that you don't have. There's a book called The Charisma Myth, whose final chapter, so counterintuitively, is talking about the drawbacks of having charisma, the problems that come with being too charismatic. You hear that and you're like, what could possibly be wrong with that, with having too much charisma? But it lists some ways that having charisma will put you at a bit of a disadvantage. It's all just about honesty. And it's about not pushing the honesty, or not pushing the constructive criticism, or even not, just call it criticism. It's about not pushing it too far to the point of self-flagellation. You're allowed to be perfectly frustrated with yourself sometimes. And that's not the point of knowing your weaknesses or your limitations. I'm starting to really like that word limitations more than weaknesses. Maybe I should start saying that more often, because I want to phrase things in the most progressive way possible. Yeah, just limitations. Places where I'm limited. It also makes it so that in no place are you unlimited when you say that. When I'm more or less limited. I'm more limited in this area, and I'm less limited in these ones. You always have room to grow. You always have room to grow everywhere. And you're never at ground zero in any capacity. I guess if I am going to be really, really great at putting the verbal smackdown on myself, I need to be really great at some verbal self-aggrandizing. I guess that's a skill that I can just also develop. But it doesn't mean that the self-deprecation can't be its own skill in its own right. You stupid Joe.